Let's go live, guys. So here is the music. Oh, did I record this? Yeah, recording this. Okay, let me grab my stuff. I'll be here in a second. To grab a pen. I need to grab a... Oh, did I move this? Of course I did. And the pen is here. How is ever... Oh, come on. Come on. Let's not take the whole stage with me. Ah, which way? Which... Oh, that's what happened. I want to lift it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, I think I'm finally ready. I woke up late, so I'm just like so still frantic trying to get everything done. So let's see who is here. Oh my gosh, hi Kylie, hi Knitting Yogi, Lorna H is here, Sally is here. Oh my gosh, all the mods. We have the new people. Lizzie Poo, hello, hello. Lizzie Poo, tell us about your sign. Tell us comment where you are so we get to know a little bit more about you. Kylie's here, hello. So we are international. Alrighty guys, so we are doing that other thing today, right? And that other thing is like when I do read a sign, it's, yeah, it could be a little bit about the sign, but it's really how we perceive the other people. So think about the other people in your life of this sign and kind of like, what do they think about you? It's kind of going to be more orientation that way. I'm going to, of course, start with Gemini because it is their birthday. Hello? Yeah, you're hearing this? There's Matrix calling me. And usually this means I have to obey. I think he wants to go in a closet, but let me see if he doesn't call again. I'll just ignore it. If he calls again, I have to go then to let him in. So let's see, Gemini, let's put here the timestamp. I'm recording this. Last time I recorded it, I threatened YouTube and they didn't screw up the recording. So I guess that's the way to go, except I have to remember to delete it on my computer because it takes so much space. I'm already at the edge. Barb is not here, that's right, so she might be, did I get any email from her? Nope. Oh, did I get email on the other email? My coaching email, let's see. So, nope, so I think she's going to be there. So let's kind of like do something when she shows up. Let's kind of like create a whole bunch of questions or something. Kind of like, hey, we are doing this for already an hour, where are you? So just to freak her out a little bit. You know, we air signs like the tease. Hello, hello Veronica, nice to see you. Okay, Gemini, let's see what is in your head that other people are trying to figure out, and so they can kind of like get the answers about it. Hello, you are like a Virgo sun. What is like your hello Kelsey, what is your ascendant? That will be good to know. Look at this Gemini, nothing is cutting through for some reason. Well, you have the moon. Well, no wonder, like all this shuffling. So what's going on? Your birthday is kind of like a little confusing to you, or this whole time is confusing? Just wondering. But then you have a Three of Cups, and then you have a King of Cups. So, okay, so what is the message you're relaying? You're kind of like, if you think that Gemini is not giving you the answer, that you want something from them, there is a reason. That's why they have this moon over here, right? Which means, I don't know, maybe it could be a little bit of a confusion, just to try to see position that you can see better. Could be a little bit of a confusion. Hi, Creative Guru, nice to see you. Chris is not here too as well, so I guess everybody is like sleepy today. So I was like calling the dog walker. I said, oh my god, I fell asleep, and if Matrix didn't put a paw in my mouth, I probably would just like sleep right through. It's kind of weird. So your Gemini friend here, guys, is in their own world. Your Gemini might be also in love, and if you want them for yourself, that's maybe not the good news. But it looks like they're like still offering friendship, and maybe if you reach out to them, kind of like they will reply, kind of like when the King of Cups is showing up over here, it's telling me they're occupied. There is a person in their life they're really occupied with, and also they have lots of things happening. And this is, remember, this is Mercury retrograde. Like things that are happening right now are sort of like, I would not say karmic things, but there are things from the past. There are things that are kind of like following us, and we need to address. So it's almost like a loose end of the wires, like, I mean, hitting, and sometimes they hit you, right? They're just like snapping around, you know, like sending all of that sparks. But, you know, sometimes they don't really hit you. Sometimes you're lucky. But generally, like during Mercury retrograde, it's usually the hit. It's either big or small. So that's kind of like what is really, really important. So in your case, guys, also I feel Gemini is feeling very artistic. Gemini is feeling that kind of like they really need to express something, and it is really important growth stage for them, because when the moon card shows up, what basically, sorry, the allergies are ridiculous that I have, and they triggered my asthma again, so it really, really sucks. So you'll hear me sneezing, you'll hear me coughing, and no, I'm not dying. It's just like really, really bad allergy. So this means that they're dealing with kind of like issues from the past lives. And even though I kind of like didn't know this card to be karma, because to me this is like really birth canal. That's where, like, birth canal to me, it's like erasing hard drive kind of a thing. You're just going through that scrubbing, right? That's why you can see small kids having, you know, this imaginary friends, which are not imaginary. They're actually really still having those guides being sent with them to kind of like watch over them. Sometimes guys get lost, or kid just doesn't have the good transition. That's why you see the kids dying when they're very young, and it's usually some disease because something really dramatic has to happen when they're confused, and they just like pull them back, so you're not ready. So in your case, guys, there's like something that is really, really going on, where they kind of like try to figure out some situation, or maybe there is like a debate about something kind of like what can be happening, right? Knitting yogi, you don't see it. Just try to refresh it because good. Oh my gosh, Mercury retrograde. You see, that's kind of like how it works. And you guys are being ruled with Mercury, and Virgo is ruled with Mercury. So, which this also could mean things from the past are being pulled to be dealt with on the surface. And in your case, in Gemini's case, it's going to be very, very successful. So, kind of like, as I said, if you are missing your Gemini friend, just reach out to them. Everything is fine. They're just, let's say they have a brain issues kind of a thing. But if you are hoping for romance, this also could mean they're hoping for the Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, because this is generic. They're kind of like, even though air sign, they're looking for a really romance. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're with somebody else or they're like wooing somebody else. This could mean that maybe they're looking for that romantic approach, especially, for example, if you're married in a relationship. That's kind of like what they want. So kind of like turning off the lights, putting the candles on, the dinner, rose petals, that actually would appeal to them. They are going to be acting almost like a water sign in this period, the rest of the month. So hopefully that really, really helps. So let's see. Knitting yogi, are you okay now? Does it really work at this stage? I hope it does. Hope it does. I started to look for the places in New Brunswick slowly, and it's kind of like interesting, but you know, like when you're trying to get somewhere remotely, and I'm not supposed to even travel there, like we're still under freaking ridiculous restrictions, and I will get my second vaccine only on July 25th, so I don't know if it's going to change anything by then. Okay, so, well, knitting yogi, sometimes it happens that simply it's just like, you know, it's really weird. This is a really great situation to explain how this spiritually works, at least how I explain it to myself. That they're like almost like a channels. You know how they show the rainbow? They're like ribbons of really energy on how we process light on that vibration. That's how I feel that I communicate spiritually. Sometimes if my energy is not good, and you probably notice that with me and with the other readers, then it's just like maybe it goes up and down, and they're trying to meet me, and it's just like mismatch, and it just kind of like you deliver broken messages. But when you are like in the zone, when you're kind of like just like having ability to stay in the zone, they actually really know where to come and how you basically are suggested or whatever. How is this happening? You get these messages because then, you know, simply I get the hints. My hints get in the in a way of I don't get auditory, luckily, so technically it would be schizophrenia, but I almost like get the word flash before my eyes, kind of like that addresses that reading. So, hi Barbie, like we are already 1 hour over here. What's happening? Good morning, everybody's asking about you. The next one is Capricorn. So let's do that. Here, let's put the timestamp here. Timestamp Capricorn. So put this here. Okay, just a second, and let's go. Capricorn. Oh, you were giving out meds. Oh, you, Barbie, didn't manage to get COVID with your work? Like, I mean, so good for you. I think I will be so freaked out. Oh, you're getting 9 of Swords reversed. These two also want to come out. And this is a Queen of Wands, and it's a 10 of Pentacles. Why is this happening? Queen of Wands is clearly a good thing here for you. So this could be you. It could be that you're stepping in the shoes of, hey, you know, I want a date. Hey, I want something else. So if you're looking at Capricorn, they appear to be doing stuff. They appear to be kind of go, as I usually say. Like Queen of Wands is also very organized. She can be very kind of like legalese kind of like a thingy, kind of like happening in her life, sorting things out, right? So taxes are done, so I would not address taxes, but I don't know if you're audited, stuff like that. But this is like somebody in charge. I always like when they put kitty in this deck. They didn't put a black kitty, but kitty is here nonetheless. Kitty cat means that even though they appear to be very transparent, they're still having that a little bit of mysterious things held back, and kind of like it's enough to tantalize people, right? It's just like a feeling, I am not so sure if you really told me the truth, and if you really did this and that, right? So maybe you're thinking they're hiding something, right? So also, like, it's interesting that that, like, I mean, Capricorn is getting Nine of Swords, right? So this to me is like wash machine brain. What I mean by that is, like, we all have been there where you get stuck on a problem, and it's you cannot resolve this, right? Oh my gosh, do I drop the kids at the school, or do I just, like, I mean, address this, like, I mean, leaking like pipes over here? I need to do both at the same time. I cannot be in two places at the same time. But it usually happens emotionally, that you're trying to find solution, almost like trying to find to be with somebody, and then when you're with somebody, kind of like then you're wondering if something is really happening. So let's say if you're dating Capricorn, like who is here, Capricorn, Chris is Capricorn, maybe he has somebody on a pedestal, but they're like really, really issues, like with this person that kind of like could be, with this Ten of Pentacles, that is giving us a clue, right? It could be the family on one side, and it could be a special one on the other side, and it's kind of like, again, it feels like that you have to make a choice that you really don't want to make a choice, that the choice is somehow positioned that you are going to really suffer no matter what you choose. So this wash machine brain, even though it's reversed, it could be even worse when it's reversed. It could be even a little bit more disorganized, kind of like, if you really think about it. But it doesn't have to be. It could be like sort of like that you're trying to sort things out, that you're trying to address the questions. So even though Capricorn is giving these vibes in both family, and so almost like Capricorn is being a yes woman or a yes man at this kind of like situation, right? So this is kind of like where I see this happening. So Capricorn will be also very, very busy with their own family, with their own stuff, maybe with kind of like processing their wealth, because Capricorns tend to be very wealthy, and this is a man or woman behind the scenes. They kind of like don't take the spotlight, because like, you go and take a spotlight, and when we are tired of you, we will just change you, but I'm going to stay here, kind of a thing. Very smart, kind of like a thinking. I'll address your questions as soon as I'm done with this, Kylie. So this is kind of like where I see that. If you kind of like see Capricorn on the surface, everything seems to be fine, and maybe you're asking yourself, so, okay, why don't I get these answers? Why is, like, I mean, what is that mystery? What is this hesitation? You feel, you're telling me this, but I don't really believe you. That's because, like, they are going through some kind of internal process. They are going through some kind of like almost like turmoil, I would say, on their own. There are choices that they need to make. And the choices are very, very difficult. So that's kind of like important. So Lynn, she says, issue with two men masquerading very questionable of their intentions. What do you suggest? Lioness not willing to be wanted prey. Guys, what I was doing last week, actually last month, I have a client and a friend. So she knows who she is. She lives in the same city, in Toronto. And she introduced me to something that I was playing with like years ago, and it's called Astrocartography. Have you heard about it? And of course, my nature is like, I cannot just read about it 5 minutes in and out. No, I have to go in, I have to dig it out. So interesting thing is, because I lived in so many different places, right? So I was born in Sarajevo. I lived in Zagreb. Sarajevo is in Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's where the First World War started, just to let you know. And then my ascendant there was Libra. and that's going to be very important. I mean, it is. This is my natal chart. I'm Aquarius with Libra rising, right? So Aquarius is almost at the end, and Libra rising is very close to Scorpio, so it kind of has this ability that I can be very mean. So don't get me on a bad day. Hello, Jenny. Nice to see you. Hi, Kathy. Oh, yay. So basically, I started realizing just recently, just in the last 2 weeks, that just, clicking on Astrocartography, and you guys can all do it. If you go on astro.com, create your chart, and then you go on a free horoscopes, and there is like Astro Travel. And you can click on the different parts in the world where you are to really give you the energies. And the energies are from your own sign. So very sun position, how it's going to shine at you. Is it going to be cloud, right? And interestingly enough, I thought this was enough until recently when I started looking into that deeper. And then I realized, and this is all answering your question actually, Lynn. It's kind of like really important where we live, believe it or not, because now when I'm thinking, when I lived in Seattle, I lived in Calgary, I lived in Pittsburgh, where I studied. Now I'm living in Toronto. Now I'm planning to move to New Brunswick, so you can see like kind of like move is not a problem for me. I used to date somebody who lived in San Francisco, so it was lots of travel over there as well. So I realized that in Toronto, I live on a Mars line. And Mars line, Saturn line, and Pluto lines are really difficult. Mars line is making you very combative. And if you're not combative, you're going to meet people who are continuously challenging you. It's just good because you push things forward. You're kind of like breaking through the doors. But after a while, you become tired of that, right? Where I was born, it was like the Sun and Jupiter lines, which kind of like made you blossom, made you feel authentic, in kind of like tune with yourself. And here I felt, well, maybe because I'm an immigrant, that's what's happening. But no, this all has to do with Mars line. And so this is kind of like what you get on that website, but there's like more to it. Then you have to start comparing the charts, because what I didn't realize until recently, that when you move, that your ascendants are changing. So that's, Lynn, going back to your question, is when you have questionable intentions, it would be really good, that astrocartography actually can give us those answers. Because sometimes the good people are just simply finding themselves in a bad company, if you wish, if you're living with a bad kind of like configuration. Because if you really look kind of like where you have these lines, I think John Lennon had a Venus line going through Japan. So Yoko Ono was Japanese, and Yoko Ono had a Venus line going through, and Venus line is really good for romance. So you always kind of like look where that person Venus line is. So that way, let's say when they're masquerading, they might have a very strong Saturn, or you might have a position that this is karmically challenging you. So if you feel that somebody is just simply kind of like as a life coach, when that somebody's intention is not clear, just walk away. You're wasting your time, right? Or slow it down with a big smile. You don't have to make it a talk or anything. Just engage yourself with different people, with positive people, because energy begets the same energy. So if you are being sent this challenging astrocartography energy, it's more to that. There's like a local astrography. You have to layer the charts. So, for example, my Leo ascendant changed to when I lived in Vancouver, in Seattle. Believe it or not, I was a Gemini ascendant. And then in Calgary, I was I was still Gemini in Calgary. And here in Toronto, I'm a freaking Cancer ascendant. And if I move to New Brunswick, it's going to be Leo ascendant. So that also, but it's not only the ascendant, the houses shift, and so hence you can completely change your destiny. So it's not only that the vibration of the place is important, but also kind of like how your houses fell in. For example, right now I have the Sun, Mercury, and Venus in my 5th house, right? Which means I'm very bubbly, I like to communicate, I love languages, I love meeting people from all over the world, which is great. with the shift in the move, for example, in my chart, is going to, and now it depends on the system that you use. I like both Placidius and I like whole system. I will not go into these details. The sun might be in the 7th house or in the 8th house. I almost prefer it to be in the 8th house, because in the 7th house everything is about a partner. So if it's in the 7th house, it means that somebody's going to try to sweep me off my feet and that I'll end up getting married. And I don't know, like, I mean, I'm independent Aquarius, kind of like a thing. Oh, look who showed up. Like, Chris showed up with a wallet. Thank you so much, Chris. I already talked about you. I don't know if you're aware of that, that we did a Capricorn at 1327. So, guys, if my sun is in the 8th house, which is that Scorpio house, my psychic abilities will go through the freaking roof, right? So that's going to be very, very important. And Jupiter is going to change. It's going to, I think now it's in Taurus, but it always stays in the same sign, but like it's going to go into the 10th house. And right now is in the 8th house. So what is really interesting, Sun in the 8th house or Jupiter in the 8th house would basically predict long longevity, that you're going to live long life and relatively healthy life, right? So I was like, oh no, Jupiter is no longer there. That kind of like was my guarantee, but now Sun will be there, which is the same thing. So you also kind of like really have to see all of that. And I just realized, oh my God, this is way more important than natal chart and who is doing there, who is doing there. Like that should be the starting point of any kind of like interaction with an astrologer and how that really works. And also, I have to tell you, when I lived in Seattle, when I lived in Vancouver and San Francisco line, like that line is where my Venus line goes. I was getting proposed to left and right. It was just absolutely freaking crazy. So just like I've been telling you, this is my experience kind of like about that. And there was another question from Kylie. Is Mercury retrograde a good time to date a new person? Short answer is no. Long answer is, hey, you know what? It lasts too long, 3 weeks to 9 weeks. And like just to be kind of like celibate and not to date is kind of like weird. But I would just say approach this time lightly, because you might not be the person who you are, because it brings all these past issues and we become triggered and overreactive, and so do they, right? But if this person, and this is a caveat, if this person is brought to us karmically, meaning it's the same person in a different body, kind of like, oh, you remind me of somebody, then is a go, because that's meant to be. It might not last, but it's going to help you resolve something to get to the happier you, which is really, really important. So hopefully it was like a long-winded answer, right? So that's right, great minds think alike. Oh, cat meowed at the same time. He's hungry. Oh, Knitting Yogi heard about astrocartography. It is just like, and I was looking at all these places where I traveled as well on top of everything. And it was like, I just also like Mexico for me, it's also on the Venus line. And it was like this same craze. I just like thought, yeah. Latin lovers, they're like swarming around me, but it was not about that. It was like the Venus line makes you very, very attractive. And for me, Aquarius, and also remember, like, I mean, my natal chart is Virgo rising, which is ruled by Venus. So it kind of like emphasizes even more, right? So now if I move somewhere where Sun is like on the ascendant, right? And Leo is my ascendant, that's going to be really, really strong. But it's also going to make extra challenges, because then you're asked to kind of like do some calling. It's just like, oh my God, I was going there to kind of like slow down, not to speed up. But it looks like this is not in the cards. Hello, Mary Ann Knox. Hello, Amps. My gosh, we didn't see you in a while. I'm so happy to see you. Born Lucky 007. I like this. Like 007 like was my big thing when I was growing up, because the guy that I was dating, that I married, he was like all into these Bond movies, right? So let's see, guys, tell us. Oh, India is in the house. Please, guys, the newbies, tell us your sign. Tell us also where you're from if you haven't already. So what was this? What? Who? Condolences? Who? Mary? What did I miss? What did I miss? Yeah. Where's the Chris? Chris showed up, and he showed up with money. My gosh, Chris, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Concentrating on myself, period. My chairs have changed. Like my rising was Virgo. Check again now. My rising is Taurus. Are you checking your natal chart or you're checking your relocated chart, Jenny? Because there are very different ways of how to kind of like do it. So life was kind to me, but in Toronto, guys, we have the heat wave, and I'm kidding you not. Like, this is so unusual. Usually this time of the year we're just getting spring, but this time of the year we have a full-blown summer. It's almost like the middle of July, August. It's already 30 today. I don't know what that is, would be 90, and it's going to go to 40 in the next few days. So Tiger is not happy about it. So I just don't know what loss was it there, but there was some loss, Mary. My condolences as well. I just cannot find what it was. So just hopefully, the energy will help. Oh, German Shepherd, 16 things. Oh man, that's a horrible thing. I really feel for you. Man, that's horrible. Especially, I thought losing a cat was horrible, but oh my gosh, with dogs, you really, really bond. But you know what? On the good news, he kind of like did live a full life. So look at that. Kind of like the energy is changing to some other side. All right. Enough bubbling, but let's cheer her up. Let's not kind of like emphasize. I'm pragmatic, Aquarius. Let's not emphasize the sadness, because I know when I get sad, I get into my Pisces mode. It's just like hard to kind of like dig me out from it. Scorpio, you're next. Scorpio. And also, guys, when you're even thinking about relocation, when you're even thinking about moving, you're actually already absorbing that energy. So that would technically mean that if you cannot move, if you don't want to move, but you think, oh, my energy really, really sucks, right? Like just already studying about a place that is like on that line that would be good for you would change your energy. It is like freaking amazing how that really, really works. Chris, when I'm moving, seeing Rod Stewart in Toronto, well, I don't know, it's going to be possibly by the end of the year, Chris. I don't know, Rod Stewart might be probably next year or something. I don't know. It's just like we're still in the lockdown, but it's nothing in the cards. It could be next year, because I don't know how it is, guys, where you are. Real estate is just crazy. Like, I mean, you have a house is listed for a price, and then the price that you end up buying them is like, 40% on top of it. So I just don't like bidding markets. That's why I stopped going on eBay. I always just go buy it now, because I hate bidding. Just tell me what the freaking price is. I'll tell you if I can afford it. Off we go, kind of a thing, right? Ooh, Scorpio, you're getting the Tower. You're getting Mars in the house. This could be something very, very sexual. Yeah, Sally, I actually will check your chart when I do the next, when I do your next reading, will remind me of that. So definitely, mind you, like, it's kind of like very similar. They're not necessarily vertical lines. Lines can actually really go sideways as well. So it kind of go different that way. So we have here for you, Scorpio, the Tower. Then we have Ace of Wands, and we have a Knight of Wands. Oh, there is like one more that flipped. Queen of Wands. Anything else? No. So there's like clearly something from the past that is coming through, and it could be something sexual. It could be something that hasn't been resolved. It could be something that actually caused a big blow up. It could be something that Scorpio. And Scorpio is like, guys, always the sign that that welcomes kind of like a stuff happening. Like, for most of us, we will see kind of like, oh, if you go here, it's going to be trouble. They'll go freaking right through it, kind of like bring it on, kind of a sign, like very strong, kind of like they kind of like have this karmic challenge, like really built into their sign. So that is kind of like what is really, really important, right? So, and there we have Elizabeth, who is also from Florida, right? So you see, guys are like, having different attitudes. I used to bid, there is like something else that I bid on. It's called Max Sold. I don't know if you guys went on that. You can get really good stuff, and they're like antiques and I like kind of like something that is very unique, I guess, my Aquarian nature, and that's where I can find that. But then, you know, that's the bidding part where you need to do. So if you guys are dating Scorpio, or you're wondering what is in the Scorpio's head, that can be like, I mean, be seen literally that, you know, they are into sexuality, they kind of like, they're like want to some kind of renewal, they want to kind of like restart something. They like literally, this is sex, 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 sex talking. But this is all fire, right? And they're water, so they're looking for the sizzle. And Scorpio will sometimes, especially in the beginning, let's say of a dating, or when they feel that it's stale, they're going to purposely create a situation that is going to make you declare, or that might make you suffer, or that might kind of like push you away, right? And that's kind of like where I see this tower happening. It's kind of like, who the hell you think you are? I'm going to show you. And this is partially about control, because they're a fixed sign. And remember, with fixed signs, kind of like, do you have this, ooh, you're going to be next year, I might not be here by then, but you're going to be in Toronto. You can just take a short trip and kind of visit me in New Brunswick at that time. So you never know, maybe things are going to work out. Chris is saying he's going to come in Toronto and say hi, which would be nice. So if there is a Scorpio in mind, they definitely, this is the dating queen, but it is also somebody who has an agenda, who kind of like looks that they're telling you something, but they're holding things back, or not everything is done, so just giving you things. But this is kind of like showing me a couplehood. They're like something forming, they're like something really, really good going on, they're like something respringing possibly from the past. The Tower generally, but this is kind of Mars and Pluto in this card, right? So that definitely belongs to Scorpio. And it's like an explosion. They really need to express themselves. They really need to kind of like, it's not so much touchy-feely, kind of like, which would be kind of like their mode. It's more like, I mean, let's do stuff. Like, I mean, you know how they have these 5 languages, kind of like showing them, not telling them, showing them would be the way, at least in this particular time of June. And so anything kind of like old can be like renewed. For example, if you're wondering, should I approach my old lover, it would work. It would work. It would kind of like, let's do something that kind of like would take you forward, and it kind of like would be a good outcome. So la 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 la. So let's see. No, nobody spoke about it. Chris, what is about Scorpio? You do tell, because this is really applying to you. We are doing a different reading, right? This is more or less what is in their head, what we need to know. So you're dating a Scorpio, would be good to get your 2 cents, right? Okay, let me just get a sip of my tea. Oh. I'm drinking tea these days. Waving, waving. Libra. Is Barbie still here? She didn't pick on teas, which shows that she's a smart lady. Libra. Okay. Libra, let's put your timestamp here. So, what do we have if you are dating Libran guy? Let's see what is in, how will the other people perceive her, and what is really important to know. So yeah, my original ascendant Libra. It's really interesting now finding this out too. This happening. So your guys Libra moons, what suggestions is this sending to the others, right? Because like, you know, like when we have a situation, what's wrong with you? Why did you think I think that? This is why, right? Ooh. What is this? You have a freaking bundle of the cards coming through. So Libra is going to be very busy. Look at this. First of all, we have a Karma card, Wheel of Fortune. Then we have Ace of Cups. But then we have a Nine of Swords. Of course, it's a freaking air sign. Nothing is freaking simple with us air signs. Then we have a Four of Cups. Yeah, please come to me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm busy. I'm tired. Well, there is the Moon. Kind of like I'm really confused. That will be kind of like. And then is a Five of Cups. and then it is the King of Wands reversed, and then it's like your card, Justice. So you're getting a massive thing happening on your mind. So if you guys are kind of like wondering what's on Libra's mind, is going to be a huge level of complexity. They're clearly going through something emotional, right? This Four of Cups, Five of Cups, the Moon, and that emotional thing is like a matter of the past. It might not be even matter of the past in this life. It could be matter of the past of the last life. Like there are like so many issues clearing. Libra is also dealing with some let's call it boy problems, right? King of Wands reversed is somebody who just withdraws the affection by not showing up, right? It's somebody who changes the mind the last moment, or somebody who you are supposed to meet, and then, oh man, like I mean 2 hours later they have something showing up and you know that they're freaking lying, kind of a thing, right? So this is kind of like where it's going to be very, very important to kind of like think through some stuff, and you really don't know how to react. But look at this, you have 2 karma cards. It's starting with one and it's finishing with another one, and it almost like looks like every step of the way you are going to, like, your Libra friend is really feeling this Mercury retrograde, because like they go in this direction and there is the wall. It almost like feels like, and I had this like really image flashing before my eyes. It's almost like was that like a game, like a Super Mario game kind of a thing, right? Arcade, where you go and it's a wall, and then you have to shift really quickly, move directions. So it looks like they do have a romance on their mind. They want to flirt, they want something, but at the same time almost like nothing pleases them at this stage. Like this Four of Cups and Five of Cups, it's expressing this association or dissatisfaction. They're also looking back. This is typical Mercury retrograde. Oh, I miss so and so, and then the so and so shows up. It's like, yeah, I know why we kind of like are not together, because this is kind of like what I really, really didn't like it, right? So, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear this. I'm so sorry. Like today, like we are getting all of these things that are so emotional. Oh, I need to do a Reiki session. I'll do a Reiki session right after. Actually, I can do right after, but I'm going to do it later in the evening for all of us who have lost somebody. And so you guys know that you'll be my thoughts, your German Shepherd, your dad, and everybody here who has somebody who have lost is going to be included. So just so you know, and if you're listening to this on this date before the evening on the 5th, so you know this is going to be also included. This is horrible. That's why I hate funerals. So Libra is going to be going through lots. They really need to clear it, but they are getting a full command of who they are, what they are. They are simply going to finish this confusion by the end, because this is a confusion. This is a confusion. This is kind of like apathy, I would say. This is kind of looking in the past. You know, usually this card shows up a lot for the older people, where you feel the best is behind you. You cannot change it now. You're just sailing, where kind of what we need to snap out of it. And it's going to be, looks like a person that is going to piss Libra off, which could be even you if you're inquiring about them, who will just simply kind of like piss Libra off enough to actually spring into action and kind of like reclaim who they really, really are. So that's kind of like important, right? So that is that's kind of like where we are with this. So who is next? Who is next? Let me have, next is a sip of thing. So do you guys want me to do Reiki right now, or do you want me to do it later? Because right now it's just like I'll have to shift my mind, and or we can do it during the door segment, just a really, really short one to send you the healing. And so I will let Barbie organize when this is done. So this is like the third sign, so we can do it. So let me just get a sip of coffee, so that way I don't keep shifting back and forth. I'm sort of like on target. you will get a really, really big, you know, that's what I really like about my life. It's like every one of you, it's such a wonderful person. You're so positive. It's almost like brotherhood and sisterhood, like Chris calls it, pussycats, right? So I think that's kind of like where things are really, really falling in place, right? So who is next? And that's like so important, like, I mean, that you have, like, I mean, that feeling, you know, that you can be vulnerable, you can kind of like show kind of a thing. So sorry, Gemini. We have a Gemini next. And Gemini, since you already got your reading, that's not going to happen, but we are going soul family. That's correct. Oh, see, air signs. So look at that. We're going through all the air signs, which means it's going to be a lot. Well, of course, it makes sense going through this transition of Sun in Gemini. So let's do Aquarius is next. Aquarius. Ugh. Man, allergies are horrible. Aquarius. Aquarius. Kitty cat tribe. I like that. Ooh, Two of Pentacles reversed. So, your Aquarius is juggling stuff. Stuck. Yeah. And this one wants to come out. And then we have the King of Swords. Your Aquarius will be tumbling and fumbling the whole freaking month. So these two cards together is not a great combination, but look at him. He's juggling. It's kind of like that energy, kind of like, even though juggling is never a good situation, maybe, you know, somebody, maybe Aquarius has two partners. That could be happening, and maybe both partners find out and they're dropping Aquarius. That can be seen that way, right? It could be also that there is like a situation that doesn't have a resolve for some way, right? Because that's why we have this like Eight of Swords. I mean, for example, in my situation, you know that I have the issues with Dad, who is at this stage rampantly crazed out with his dementia, right? So he even took the power of attorney from me so he can do whatever he wants. So this kind of like means this kind of like blockage, that people are dealing with blockage, which means I have to go through the legal process to settle him with the public guardian, etc., etc. So this is kind of like what that would show in my case. There are different interpretations as well, and that's why I'm always giving you different interpretations, right? Because this is like about some kind of like clarity. This is about some new beginning, something that has been closed. The Queen of Swords is kind of like imposition or imprisonment, which is like self-imposed and self-imprisoned, because she only thinks, this is like the Stockholm syndrome. She only thinks, it's not necessarily because Stockholm syndrome, you really think that these people are good for you, which they're not. But she clearly understands this is not a good situation. I want to get out of the situation, right? So with Eight of Swords, usually for me come the situations where somebody is locked. So it could be a prison, it could be marriage, it could be a relationship, it could be location, it could be work. There's like something that is really happening that for some reason is not easy to walk away or to resolve, or maybe like you're hoping that your Aquarius person is going to leave a spouse and they just can't. There's like something happening, and it can be like, I mean, not something necessarily that is emotionally dishonest if they said, no, this is what's happening, but it could be that somebody's, you know, I mean, was diagnosed with something, so kind of like timing has to be important. Interestingly enough, this is all going to get resolved, and I see that in a King of Swords, and it's going to get resolved in a really fair way. King of Swords is also influence of Libra in the situation. I really like how, you know, he, even though he has all this metal around him, he's like really guarded, right? Because King of Swords is not really fluffy fellow like a King of Cups that you want to go to grandpa and they hug you. This is it, like, you know, what did you do? Oh, you did that. I'm going to give you like my fortune, kind of like now, kind of like you really did, you show me your progress, kind of like, it's very important. That's why Kings of Swords can represent judges and can represent people of authority. So this is kind of like a pleading to authority and asking for somebody else to step in. This can be a boyfriend, this can be a situation, this can be a marriage, this can be kind of like a balance. So your Aquarius is, look at this, it's really in their head, and it could be a lots of issues that are happening, that are financial issues, could be a lots of things on their plate that are really happening. So if you're dealing with Aquarius, I would say, and you want to get ahead, Mercury retrograde is hitting them in a way that they need to sort something out. Some blockages are there, and these blockages for Aquarius usually manifest in disease, because right, mental sign, and they usually overthink. We are usually overthink, and then usually it goes to the weakest chain in our body, and for us would be blood, and circulation would be feet, could be a stomach issue, and of course, like mental health issues, depressions, anxiety. Aquarius is one of those rare signs who kind of like get a whole bunch of freaking diseases, weird diseases, like not freaking, freaked out diseases, rather to say, and then they also get rid of them like as quickly, kind of a things. Is something that is almost like spontaneous healing, right? And that's because we create diseases in our own head, right? And we can also get rid of them in our own head, and that's very important. So that's kind of like what's going to be happening for the Aqua sisters. So that's what the amp says. So Kyle, you've been getting the sense of Eight of Swords energy from them, from Aquarius, you see, or somebody who has your new person is Aquarius Sun and Leo Moon. Oh my God, this is like me. This is absolutely like me, Kylie. They have very interesting energy, because it's always the fight between, I would like that, but I don't really need that. It's kind of like that debate. But yeah, that's kind of like what it is. We send this energy of guarded energy. So Chris, your father is still very present around you. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful saying. My mother passed last July. She made very clear she's not gone. You might enjoy reading my life after death. Oh my God. Can you guys just give me a second? Hello? Yes, I am in the middle of my seminar. So, what's up? I know. Okay, I'll give you a call when I'm done. Okay, love you, bye-bye. This is a doggy date. Isn't this amazing? So Tiger is serious. He wants to get married to Boudica. So if you're following Tiger on Instagram, you probably know all about it. He's just like my little Scorpio doggo is now adult, and he's ready to shack up. It's kind of really amazing. So, Chris, I wanted to say on this theme, there's oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember. It is a documentary on Netflix that really deals with that. And I did say this before, I forgot what the title is right now. It's not all of them are just some of them are just so bizarre with these mediums, and it's really rare to find a good medium. Most of them are frauds, right? Or mentalists or something like that. So it's just people are over exaggerating their stuff, and they do some pre-research on you. But there are a few episodes that really deal with people who are credible, like the medical doctor. She's talking about loss of her son, and that energy is really real. I'll have to tell you, I didn't have there's a person who has passed that I really didn't have a good relationship with, and it was really interesting how I actually envisioned this person being going through some kind of desert and devastation, and everything was just dark and red, almost like the tarot card, right? And that was kind of possibly my anger and the person that had to kind of do the clarity. And then later this person came to me. It was sort of pleading to me, am I done paying for my sins? It was almost like a Dante, kind of those circles. And so I do know that connection is still there. So that is really important. So yeah, look at this. This is, guys, Mercury retrograde. We think about losses in our life. And this is really good because like then we know what these people brought to us. But like, it's also very important that we shift it, because I do have to tell you how this really works is we kind of like we sign up. We sign up for this life and we sign up for the ride, and we also decide to leave because we actually want to leave. So it's us behind who are thinking, oh, I miss you. But we are left some tools from this person, and this is now on us to go to the next stage, and they're still there. They're still watching us. There's like still the connection that is going to be on the other side. So it's kind of like really important not to, it's easier said than done, not to kind of like spend time in sadness, but rather to kind of like look into the positive that they have left with you. And this is kind of like what also creates sadness. Yeah, I'm thinking about the positives. Oh no, they're not here. I know the feeling, I get the feeling, but try to take the tools they have given you and move forward, right? So I kind of like did this like big ancestry healing, and I do have that meditation, and I can actually, I don't know if I want to release it because it's really, I'm using it, took me a long time to do it, but it's really, I'll give you a simplified version. You just kind of like close your eyes, and you imagine just the line of ancestry, like I mean on your side. So if it's a female side, all of them will be female. If it's a male, all of them would be male. And just like imagine you talking to all of them and asking them, what do you have to tell me? That is going to bring you some answers, and just listen to what comes to you, because it's true. It's not something that you are inventing. So that's very, very important, right? So Kylie, double air and fire. Well, that could be really interesting for you. And Kylie, because Mercury retrograde is like in the sign of air, and you're dealing with a person who is like wishy-washy. We Aquarians always look wishy-washy, but we are not. We really know what we want. If you ask us, what do you want? It's, oh, I don't know. We really do know what we want. But you have to wait for Aquarius to actually show you negative traits. And that's a really key with Aquarius, I'll tell you, and why. Because when we initially meet a person, we want to know as much as it's almost like, think about it, we're a little alien processing, like it's just like kind of like data going back and forth. But when we tell you something negative, that means we feel comfortable with you, that we feel like, oh, you know, I can actually share this dirty things about me. Then you know there's a really interest, and that's unfortunately how it goes with Aquarius. Leo. Well, Leo, that's going to be my new ascendant. I'm already feeling it. Like, I mean, that this is really all that is kind of like in my bones. It is really, really happening. So Leo, let's do you next. Leo. I just know that Cancer, ascendant, this is what made me gain weight. And this is now all making sense, because I was like so athletic anywhere else but in Toronto. And here's like, oh, what do I eat? Oh, look at this is so good. Leo and Jupiter can also make you gain weight. So where I'm going is going to be Jupiter line and Sun line. So I'll have to watch it too, because like, oh my gosh, getting bigger, it's not going to be, would not be fun, would not like it. So we have Ace of Swords, we have 7 of Wands, then we have 10 of Cups reversed, and then we have 9 of Cups. Well, first of all, Ace of Swords means there's like some kind of a karmic dealing happening here. You're cutting through some bullshit, and that's to me always bullshit, because swords are kind of like, we cannot waste time. It's always the sense of urgency, or it is some kind of like emergency over there, right? So it's almost like you need to send pit bulls on an intruder. There's like no time to wait, kind of like when this happens. And this is it. Maybe somebody is, and I really like the eagle over here. It's kind of like it's asking you for victory. It's asking you to soar. So there will be other people who want to take your kind of like wind away. That's for Leo. And at least this is how they are going to be perceived. They're going to be perceived to be a little bit defensive. They're going to be perceived to be a little bit harsh, right, over here. Especially when it comes to family members of Leo. They're going to feel like, why you don't love me anymore? Like, you see, that's going to be a battle of, I guess, boundaries, I would say. So Leo is going to be really, really big in this particular transition in June, because we are doing the entire June kind of establishing who they are. They're almost like like I cannot say they're finding backbone, because Leo is always taking a stage, even when they don't want to take the center stage. They're always, the light is always shining on them, right? And they're always asked to quote unquote behave. Like, so if you really think about the people who are famous people, right? They have a Leo either on their ascendant or in their kind of like sun sign, because try the public speaking, guys, right? So if you speak to one person, it's kind of okay. If you speak to two people, you're fine. Three people, but when you walk in front of the group of 100, you kind of like get tongue-tied. You go like, la, 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 la. See, Leo has this natural ability to kind of like flow in the situation. It's almost like the more the merrier. So because there is an energy, and there is a reason why, for example, opera singers always get this like huge bouquet of flowers. That energy is literally draining, and these flowers, cut flowers, are giving you instant boost of that energy. So whenever you're like, let's say, sick, getting like cut flowers is kind of great idea. Even though I have to say, as of recently, like last couple of years, I'm so much against cutting the plants, because they're also living beings, right? But that will be exception, kind of like that they're really serving the purpose of healing. So kind of like do that. And don't keep flowers in your bedroom unless you're sick, because keeping flowers in your bedroom is creating problems in energy with your partner, right? That's kind of like exactly the place where there should be no plants, and especially no flowers. But if you put the flowers in your living room, and also if you go even further and you apply the feng shui principle where in the living room, that can definitely kind of like create a little bit kind of like thing in your life. And also that astrocartography, guys, it's also called local space, where you can kind of like apply it to your apartment, to your house, to the place where you live, even with in the same city. That can be done as well. So if you're kind of like dealing with Leo, they're going to come through. If you're waiting for the Leo to woo you and romance you, to kind of go back in the saddle, there is like the Knight of Cups. Also could be the Leo is going to have somebody coming through over here who'll be romancing them. But Leo is going to have a big backbone. It's going to be, nope, nope, this is the line in the sand. I don't like when you do that, and you are not going to get there. My gosh, this guy always reminds me of Marlon Brando, and in Streetcar Named Desire. It's just like ridiculous over here, right? And this is the card about telling the world, hey, you know what? I know my value. I know my worth. Because they feel, clearly, if these two cards are showing up together, they feel they have been misused or abused, or that somebody didn't take them seriously. And how do you not know that I can roar? So they were pussycats, and now they're becoming this like big lion with a big roar. And I really think this could be also something connecting to their families, or something, because Ten of Cups, when it reverses, it always like tells me that somebody is putting a show, right? They're not necessarily happy, but they're going to give you this appearance. No, everything is fine. Honey, is everything okay? No, everything is fine. Where it's not fine, kind of a thing, right? So, but it also could mean that you're kind of dealing with a family that is trying to bog you down, because families have the tendency to replicate patterns, right? To settle with patterns. And it almost looks like Leo is breaking through to that. And there's like something, the essence of lightness that comes in Leo's life as a result. So if you really want to get into their life, for example, let them clear this thing. If they look a little bit too much, that is because they are too much. But they need to go through that. Just kind of like wait for this process to kind of like really work out, because they are going to start coming. And it's almost like, that story when they say, well, if the bird flies away, it was not yours to belong with, it comes back. Was it Shakespeare? I don't know. They're usually kind of like they kind of like accredit it to Shakespeare, but I'm not so sure this was him. So now this is coming back. So they wait for them to come back. They will. They need to kind of like resolve their own issues, or vice versa. If you are hoping for them to come back to you, it's just like, don't do anything that is going to be a repeat of the pattern. If they already told you, well, there's like something that I want, and then the kind of like didn't play out, maybe they put a brave face and they just continue with that. but they haven't been happy, and that's why they're now guarded. So it is kind of like going to be something important for them to clarify, or for you to clarify it for them. The things are different. It has to be light, it has to be romance, it has to be the real thing. So it's going to be really important. You're getting a new car. Have crystals in my bedroom. That's good. Crystals would do well, but be very important that you don't have crystals that will make you not to sleep well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you sure, Barbie? We only had four signs. 1, 2, 5 signs. Don't we need to do one more? What did I do now? I did Leo. So we need to do one more. Let's do one more, and then we can kind of like have this in the middle. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, she's right. What did I not write down here? Let me just see. Gemini, I have written over here. And just check. If you love something, that's it. Set it free. If it comes back to you, if it's yours. That's the saying. Capricorn. Did I put a Capricorn? Yeah, I did. Barbie's okay. Aquarius. I put Aquarius. I put Libra. Leo. I put Leo. Oh my gosh. What did I miss? Libra. And oh, Scorpio. I didn't write in Scorpio. You see, Barbie is not wrong. I am wrong. And she is absolutely right. So when was the Scorpio? I'll put a question mark here. So we are doing doors, guys. Look at her. It was after Capricorn. Thank you so much. So let me just guess here the timing, so that way when people check. Okay, so guys, you see, Barbie is running the show always perfectly. That's why I love her to death. So I'm going to put this on so I can grab a deck and shuffle cards. Let's grab this one. So ask a question that you want to have it answered. It has to be a simple one. Keep in mind it's going to overlap in energy with the others. And I got the door number 1. And pick the left, center, right, or the door number. I could get 25 cards jumping and that would not work. Okay. Alright, let's remove this and put a timestamp over here. So, if you ask for the door number 1, hi Lynn, thank you very much, appreciate that. Scorpio didn't write down, that's it. So guys, let me know if I keep forgetting this, because it helps to the other people when I put a timestamp. So door number 1, there is like something that is stemming from the past. Maybe you like somebody for a while and now like you're wondering what's going to happen. So this is a good thing to go. This is the Mercury retrograde, which would work really well, kind of like, yeah. Or maybe you want to reach out to somebody from the past. This is kind of like a yes card, right? But it's a yes card for the things from the past. For the future, it means that this person is going to be a karmic person, where, like, I mean, as I said to somebody, you will be connecting with somebody who will be to Kylie, right? It's going to be a new person, like a new body and the old soul, kind of a thing that you're still needing to work on something. It's a cute little lady with the glasses. Love it. So door number 2 is, ooh, 3 of Swords reverse. Is that the third party situation, or is this like some kind of like a pain that is causing you, or are there kind of like sharp words over here? This is really interesting because this is really talking about there's like not a meeting of the minds. So guys, this is a clearly no. In fact, it's more than no. It's telling you you are cold, you know, hot and cold, cold. This is frozen. You're going in the wrong direction because there's like something that is going to cause pain in the future. It could be, you know, initial relief, like a cocaine user, kind of like you grab this cocaine, it kind of like really works, but in the long run, it's kind of like really, really bad. And then we have the Six of Pentacles over here for the door number 3. This, be very careful. This could be yes, but it's going to be to your detriment. It means that you'll have to do everything. If, for example, you're doing negotiations, you'll have to do all the concessions, and the other party shouldn't do anything, right? So kind of like that is what is really, really important right here to know. But if you want to go in a situation where you, I don't know, you're going to feel that this yes is kind of like a loss to you. Like, I want to be with you, I want to be with you. There was like a woman next door. There's a guy living next door. Oh my gosh, you know, I don't like this guy. But this woman was knocking on his door. I love you, I love you. He would let her knock for hours. Imagine, he's a Scorpio. I don't know what she is. For hours. So everything is like what he says. So I don't know, like, I mean, how many people like to live life like that? I wouldn't be able to. But she does, and this is now, they moved in together, they're together, he's still eyeing the other women, but she's still there. So that's kind of like extreme of this flavor. Doesn't have to be this way, but maybe simply need to do some concessions in order to move forward. That's kind of like where I see that. So oh my gosh, really? You quit cocaine? That's really, really bad week. Yeah. Number 3, ask if I would get money for my summer classes. Let me see. So yeah, but it's going to have some catch attached to it, that it might cost you in the long time, or you will need to do something that it might not sit well with you. So just keep it in mind, because 6 of Pentacles is always about the balance. It's like a give and take card, right? And that give and take flow has to happen. So it almost looks like somebody's taking and somebody else is giving. So maybe in your sense this makes sense, because somebody's giving you money and it must be some kind of like catch attached to it. So you will tell us when it happens, kind of like what is going on with that. All right. Let me have a sip of my tea with lemon. You know what I'm feeling? I'm going to watch Da Vinci Code today. I didn't watch this movie in a while. I'm kind of like got tired a little bit of Netflix, and I subscribe to Star's channel, and I'm getting tired of that channel too. So I'm going to be, will I pass your, which card did you pick, Abs? Which card did you pick, so that way I can tell you how this really defines for you. Oh, will this Linus get her paid new car this year? You guys have to tell me which cards you picked, so I can tell you about it. Oh my gosh, I remember I'm reading that book. I was like, we have a place called High Park in Toronto, which is like a similar like to every High Park named High Park, a big park in the center of the city, and a beautiful place to go. And I just like was holding this book, I couldn't drop it. It was just like so amazing. So you picked number 1. Oh my gosh, what was number 1? Look at my memory. What was number 1? Oh my gosh, I cannot really, I'm blocked. I know that it was 3 of Swords, and I know it was like 6 of Pentacles, and I'm trying to remember what was number 1. Number 1 was yes, but which card was it? Tell me. I'm blocked. I'm absolutely blocked. Let me try. Why can't I remember this? Oh my gosh, I'm getting dementia. You watched Predestination? Isn't this? I love this movie. I watched it so many times. I really think it's one of the best sci-fis made. And Ethan Hawke, really, I think he's not getting roles he deserves. Like in that movie, you can tell. It's just like so amazing, guys. Even if you don't like sci-fis, I would suggest. Oh, door number 1. Yeah, what was door number 1? What card was it, guys? 6 of Cups. That's right. 6 of Cups. So the question is, will I pass? Yes. Yes, because this is connecting with something from the past. It's connecting with the happiness. It's connecting with feeling kind of like reborn. Like, I mean, yeah, that is like union about that, right? So that's really, really important, right? What do you mean, Lynn of Rest? What is Queen of Swords? I don't understand where this fits. I'm blocked too, but it was a yes. Okay. Let's go, guys. Next. let's go back on schedule. See, like when I told you about bidding, this is kind of like what I got on these bidding sites over here. It says, I love Arizona. So this is onyx 100 years. This is from Arizona. And I don't know how much this onyx would cost. I got it for $5. So kind of like you can, and that one, and I got this one for $5. That looked much bigger in the picture. So I don't know if this is really worth it, $5, but this one clearly is way more. So kind of like crystals are really, really good, except you really need to clean them when you buy them from anybody, especially from the other people, right? So, oh, look who's coming. Safi is coming. Hey. What? I slept in this morning. I woke up at 10:10. I mean, I woke up at 6:30 and I said, oh, let me read the papers. I read the papers for half an hour and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up with having a paw in my mouth. Matrix put a paw. Yeah, we are all sneezing. We all have allergies. And I said, oh my God, I have to take Tiger. And Tiger was supposed to be dropped off at 9:30. And I'm seeing texts I didn't hear. It's like, oh my God, like what a mess, right? And that's why Carolyn was calling, like, what happened? So it was just kind of like really, really weird that I had to really quickly get together for everything. Yes, Six of Cups for number one is really dealing with the energies from the past. It's very success-oriented cards for everything that has started in the past. So that is really important, right? So Aries is next. Let me find your card here. Let's put a timestamp so I don't forget that. Aries. And let's see what we have here. We have rose quartz re-energizing on my windows at the moment. Rose quartz is also good to leave for 24 hours because both sun and moon energy needs to kind of like get in. So it's really, really important. I like the clear quartzes because they're neutral energy. It works for every sign. And of course, I'm wearing my moldavite as a protective kind of like stone. It really, really works for me. But be careful with moldavite unless you are really, really dedicated to spirituality. I know Kylie would do well with moldavite over here. I think amps and possibly needing yogi, but moldavite can push you in a situation that you really don't want to be. So unless you're already dealing with the energies that are channeled through you, it will be hard. It's almost like going to the first grade and somebody saddles you with university material. It's just like, it's beyond overwhelming. So kind of like be very, very careful of this. It's a good week to reach out to somebody from the past. Six of Cups. Yes, absolutely. Six of Cups would do that. This is absolutely Mercury retrograde and it's going to feel chummy and receptive and everything like that. So that's really, really dreams with Moldak. What is Moldak? Is that a wine? In my card too. Okay, guys, I like it. You have questions this time. And like feel free, that's why you're on live. You can ask me the right questions. Moldavite. Oh my gosh, moldavite is like so intense. It's just amazing. Like sometimes can make you kind of stay up. I definitely suggest, like, if you get a small. Be careful. Lots of people are selling crappy moldavites, especially if you get them from China. They have to come from Czech Republic, or they have to come from somebody. There's like a guy in the US that I'm buying from who is certified, because it's meteor that fell in Czech Republic and created kind of like a mesh between like something from outside of this planet with this, and it looks like a broken glass. So you have lots of things that just are broken glass. So you actually feel heat when you touch it. It's just like feels like meteor. Really, it's kind of really weird. And it's extremely powerful. I think it's kind of weird. You know, guys, that I have been attacked, right? Like, I mean, a while back. It was a day when I took off this moldavite. It was cleaning. And, like, I'm so protected from everything, like, as long as I wear it. So just, like, no, it's very, very important, right? So, obsidian can be very difficult stone. It's usually good for Scorpios. That's it. Moldavite gives you headaches, and it takes adjusting. It takes almost like, for me, it was like almost 9 months of adjusting, and it's not a fun ride. That's why I'm warning, right, guys? Don't just jump on it. It sounds great, but oh my God, it really demands quite a bit from you, right? So, oh, you gave your moldavite away. Yeah, my source I'll send it to you. I'll look it up. I'll send it to you. Let me just mark it down over here so I don't forget. Mini Museum has good multivite. This was actually my client. Yeah, I can send you this. But Mini Museum, guys, if you don't know about Mini Museum, check it out. This guy is like freaking amazing, right? So he he collects, I think it's minimuseum.com. He's like in the US, he's like in Washington. So they kind of like take these little parts. I can even show you. Let me bring it and show you. So that's kind of like, he has Moldavite. It's actually really well priced. And he said he got a really good deal. Let me just bring it and show you. Okay, I'm back. So Aries, I guess I'll have to redo the timeline for you. So Mini Museum. So this is kind of like the packaging. Everything is like freaking amazing. So where does it open? Here. Look at that. Look at how everything is done. So you even have the booklet with it, and kind of like even the little things that you kind of like if you want to put it on. And that's for this. So what they do, they have a different series. And the one he has sent me as a gift is this one. So look what they have. They have, what is this? Extraterrestrial amino acids. And they're really real things. They're really authenticated. Every single piece. This is not cheap. It's not expensive. It's about, I think, 300 US. But like, giving what you have, like I think I have a piece of human heart here. What is it? This is Muhammad Ali from the speed bag. This little piece, this is from the brick from the White House over here, and this is human heart over here. So isn't this amazing? And this is like Amazon River. So it's kind of like really amazing. Kind of like people collect this. They're like literally when they release it, it's like rare specimens from Earth and beyond. I think the presentation is freaking amazing, and I know the guy. This is like. He double checks, triple checks everything. So Moldavite from him, and he has the jewelry there. But I can also find you the other guy who he also wrote a book about it, and to tell you his name. It was a little bit more expensive that I bought from him, but it's also very authentic, and he also takes pride in this. So let's see. Oh, CBO music show up here. So I have to change the Aries thing because I didn't even start, and they would go like, what is this? She said Aries and she's not even talking about us. I already know, because like, I think the most negative part when you're running the show. So Aries, you have Knight of Swords, you have the Empress, and you have a Two of Cups. So Aries is into lovey-dovey things over here. Like what is really happening over here is the Knight of Swords is like there are like some new set goals. So Aries is right now in the mode, and it's really Gemini that is pushing them through, is maybe they want to marry. Maybe they kind of like setting this as a goal. They want a family. Maybe they, it's kind of like weird, but this is also about beautifying. Be careful. Buying new furniture and stuff during Mercury retrograde makes you regret it, or it comes into your home and it's not this way. So just make sure you measure it properly. If this is something you have been planning for a while, it's a go, right? Like that's kind of like how Mercury retrograde works, right? So for example, I signed a contract for the sale of my house during Mercury retrograde, but I didn't hesitate because the process was happening already for 1 month of negotiation, so it was already taking place, right? So that is good because it's kind of like a conclusion of the old part. But starting it during Mercury retrograde, then you need to wait for this to finish, for this to sign, if you just start this kind of stuff. So then you have a Two of Cups, and there's like about this unity. Aries is ready. This to me means like literally they, as I said, marry, putting somebody on a pedestal, getting pregnant, kind of like nurturing, and kind of like establishing yourself. This is really, really important. And like, this is really showing the typical Aries, like, really, this is my goal and I want this goal as soon as possible. Just come to me, that sort of things, right? So this is as straightforward as it gets, like with Aries, right? The Empress also indicates Aries, in particular the ones born in March. The March Aries might be a little bit less intense. April Aries will be very, very intense this particular period, right? And literally, like, I mean, if you also look at numerology, the 3 and 2 is Hierophant, it's 5. And this really talks about this, like, I mean, norm of the society, and kind of like joining, like, they're really kind of like one track mind this particular time. And if you're it, you will be it. If you're not it, they'll just like drop you like a hot cake. I dated Aries. It was just like, I was like on a pedestal, and all of a sudden he was gone. He just like dumped me like that. It was just like, okay. So my brother is Aries, and I also know how that really works similarly for him. So that's going to be interesting, guys. If you have Aries in your life, just they're going to be very, very goal oriented in this particular period, and they'll be very vocal about it. They'll really kind of like know what they want. So let me see, let me catch up. Went to sleep clutching Moldavite and Canvasite. I don't have Canvasite. It will be interesting energy. Tiger Eye, Sally. Tiger Eye, I don't recommend unless you have high anxieties. It kind of calms you down, and it has to be specific one. It has to be the yellow and black, not red and black or any other formation. And it has to be kind of like almost like a spherical, so that's kind of like the energy can come through. Because the problem is, like with Tiger Eye, which belongs to Scorpio, it's only Scorpio would really benefit out of it. So when it's kind of like jagged, then energy kind of bounces back. It almost like acts like a mirror. So instead of attracting it, it almost like can bounce it back. So be careful. It's very powerful stone, right? So canvasite, yes. Placing crystals in the dirt during a full moon is good to cleanse and ground the energy, but depends which one, Kylie. For example, you cannot do it with Moldavite, because Moldavite is from the outer space, right? You kind of like have to see the origin, and I think it's really more to that. Like, I mean, it goes back, I'm going back to this, my Astrocartography, my latest pet project. You also have to see where it was sourced. I always ask where my crystals come from, right? So that way you're bringing this energy to your life. It can be the best crystal. Like, I mean, it's Auralite, which comes from Canada. I also advise everybody get Auralite. Oh yeah, got these as well on these kind of like max sold. This is agate. It's good for a coaster, I guess. It's not particularly stone that's going to bring much of the energy, but I love Auralites. My gosh, like Auralites have 23 different 23 different minerals in there, and that energy to me is almost like as good as the energy. This was on Etsy, and it has to be from Canada. Auralite is only found in Canada so far. So this is giving you connection with your higher self. So it is on my table for the readings, because it always reminds me that I have to do it in the highest possible vibration and kind of like connect. So the stone is going to work for everybody, because it's going to start pushing you to the higher kind of like level. So nice seeing you, Sally. Well, you're busy in Florida. You see, you have a completely different kind of like energy. So I'll talk to you soon. I love you. And then that's right, Kylie, patience isn't Aries' strong suit. Just imagine the reading is like showing that not only that this is their baseline, they're not patient. This is going to be even worse right now happening. So that's what is important. You're welcome, Mary Ann Knox. So let's continue. So who is next? Next one is Pisces. We don't have Pisces here, right? We rarely get Pisces coming over here. I guess they're too sensitive for my style, because I was told when I think I'm sweet, I'm being told you're harsh. So, oh my God, I didn't plan to be. So, but you need to know how you come across, and this is why this reading is all about. So Pisces, Pisces, Let's see. Oh, you're already coming out. And this, you know, Mercury retrograde is good for the water signs. Look at this, Queen of Cups, Emperor, King of Cups, Eight of Swords, and the High Priest. Like, I was so happy when I saw this, and now I'm seeing this. So there's a blockage of something moving forward, and the something moving forward is a marriage. Almost like looks like it's a couple. That there is like a meeting of the minds. There is like, I mean, Pisces are feeling themselves. Everything is working well, but some kind of like crap is coming in the way with this Eight of Swords. It's like that blockage. There is like something that somebody's refusing to see, and it could be very well Pisces. They're like always so optimistic, and be careful of Pisces. They're like the sweetest things when they're like in the zone. When they're not in the zone, they're like little piranhas, right? It's just like you're looking at fishy, 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 and then the shark comes and freaking bites your freaking arm off, kind of a thing. So it's kind of like important to know. By the way, I saw this documentary about sharks, and sharks are really not attracted to human blood, contrary to what they're showing us in the movies. That was kind of like really interesting to see. So I don't really know how to interpret this other than, you know, there's going to be some emotional task. So Pisces is maybe dating over here. Maybe it's like, I don't know why is the Emperor in between. Maybe there is a person in between, and that would make more sense, that there is possibly, you know, a love, a forbidden love that is really happening over here, where maybe somebody is married, kind of a thing, right? And it could be that also the society is judging you, because this is almost like a male principle to me, right? The Emperor is like, okay, what are you going to do about that? Maybe the relationship needs to have some kind of formation at this stage, right? It's not only lovey-dovey. We are moving from this teenager kind of like situation, teenager state, into something else, right? But then almost looks like reality hits you in the head, right? Because this is a fire and water, and they're opposing energies, but they can create sizzle. They can create kind of like good things. It's almost like you're lying down in bed and, you know, like, I mean, intermingling your fingers and dreaming, making big dreams, and then reality starts crashing. Oh, it's not possible. It could be almost like that. There's like somebody's father, or this could be also like, I mean, a work situation that you're meeting somebody at work. But the High Priest is always, to me, it's a marriage card, right? But this is blocked. This is blocked. It's not going in that direction. And he's saying like this has to be right. And this is also, so Pisces need to make sure that whatever they're doing in the highest possible kind of like a way. If they're doing something that is against, let's say, moral codes that we have on this planet, things are not going to do well. Things are going to feel awkward, constrained, and the destiny is not going to be on your side. So if you are the third party, like if you are that somebody who is like with Pisces, because there is like a lots of third party flavor here for me. There's like a lots of somebody is shackled, somebody is in a situation that, and it's not a situation like a kid. It could be a situation that there's like somebody, let's say, married to their job, and they want it when they're with you, but then they're not really kind of like investing the time or investing what they are saying they do. But when they're with you, like you're on the top of the world, it can be seen this way. It's almost like it keeps on going in the same direction. It's never kind of like changing. And this is saying really this has to be some kind of balance. It has to be the higher kind of like purpose in the situation. So if you're dealing with Pisces, then you know they're dealing through some kind of like probably emotional turmoil, because they're almost like on the cloud number 9 over here, and then they will come crashing. So it's going to be literally that you're going to see both pretty little guppies and sharks and piranhas this month over here if you have Pisces. And it's simply going to feel that they feel cornered, that they feel somebody is falling through, somebody is not fulfilling their promises. So if this is you, they might attack you, that you are this way or that way, that you don't want to do something for them. So that's going to be the situation over here that is really, really happening. So Chris is saying, had a beautiful Pisces girlfriend who was highly intuitive and very energetically sensitive and aware. but who knew nothing of tarot. Well, you know, it kind of like really has to come to your life, and some people are blocking. It's kind of weird that people, I mean, I agree, it's not a very scientific principle, but I cannot deny that has given me answers. So it will be too much of lucky streak that I'm getting these answers. So how is this explained? I don't even care. Like, I just know that it does work. So Pisces are naturally intuitive, so that would be a really, really good fit. Shiny, yes, Cancer is done. Oh, no, it wasn't done. What the hell am I talking about, right? So we have Sagittarius next. Saggies are next. Sagittarius are next. And the stamp is here. Let me have a sip of my tea. Sagittarius. Ooh, you're having a Nine of Swords. This is already third sign that is seeing this. And then you have a Knight of Cups. And then it's like your thing. And this one won't come out. Eight of Cups. So, I think it makes sense when we are going through Mercury retrograde that I'm seeing so many confusing energies. And like now I'm thinking about you, Kylie, right? Even though this is like sort of like how the other people see you, because you're asking kind of, this dude or what do I do? Do I date during Mercury retrograde, right? But at the same time, it is like how they see you, and they see you that you're possibly a little confused, and that maybe you have some issues, or you know, like that you are dealing with some kind of like stuff, or maybe you are not letting them in, kind of like that can be a thing. But it's swords, it can be discussed, you know. If you're dealing with an Aquarius, like you just say, okay, what would you do in the situation? So basically just like put your money where your mouth is, right? And they will actually tell you it might be a situation really that is relating to this Eight of Cups, kind of like there is like some kind of like a walking away. And I really like this card in this deck in particular, because even though she's kind of like walking toward this moon and the stars, almost looks like this is very much Aquarian. It's connecting to the star, kind of a card to start with. It is kind of like, I need more. I really need more. So I really do think that Sagittarius is really authentic. They're really following their own star. There is like, they want romance. Sagittarius is very much into, come to me. It kind of like you are not the one who is expanding out. You're not the one reaching out. You are waiting for people to come to you. Maybe it was this hesitation or some kind of barrier, or not a meeting of the minds where, you know, you're telling I need this and they're like blah blah blah, and it's like you're two ships in the dark. But this kind of like gets resolved, and this is going into some kind of like patience is needed. The things can actually really work out. That's what the Temperance says. It says, I can merge air and water, right? I can actually make it work. However, this is making you understand your real needs. Maybe what you're getting is satisfactory, but it's not the best for you. And like you're really putting, Sagittarius is really putting themselves on a pedestal in this period. And like this is, that kind of makes sense because we are going through Gemini transition, and we also going through Mercury retrograde, which is the opposite of Sagittarius. So because Gemini on its own would simply mean, oh, my energy is very low. But because they're in the retrograde, this is a really good feeding kind of like ground and energy. So this is going to be one of those rare months when your opposite sign is transitioning, that you're going to actually really feel energized. You're going to really kind of like be able to make a really qualitative decisions like in this particular period of time. So the other people will see that, and the kind of like when the other people see that we kind of have our act together, they generally they just either dissipate. So it's like somebody wants to take like a really quick, you know, advantage of us, and they just realize they can't. They have to move on the next victim. But if somebody is real, they're going to try to work on it and show it up. In any case, Sagittarius is going to make, let's call it selfish decision. but the decision is going to be the best for them and how to deal in the situations, and it's going to be very important over there. So Chris says, I've come to the conclusion the tarot cards are spiritually guided. How else could it be explained? Well, exactly. And I right now know that in Israel, they're starting to do therapy, regular therapy with tarot cards. I don't know if I told you guys how, I mean, I did start tinkering with this when I was like 15 years old, right? And it was a whole bunch of different divination methods, from geomancy to I Ching, right? To I tried everything. My best friend, a Scorpio, she and I would always kind of like deal with this, right? But my true interest started really when I started to study psychology, and that it was this guy, I'm trying to remember his name, escapes me now. He did this past life regressions, and it was like ting, like I was like on my territory. And to me, this is a guide. I can feel people energy, I can tell you about it. So but you see the charts is like almost you're getting the instructional booklet. You don't really have to figure it out. So this is clearly to me spiritually guided, because and it really takes your interpretation. And I really think this is how medium works as well. They probably get this visual kind of like images, and they have to make sense. So there's a person giving you an apple, so how do you interpret this to this person, right? What does that mean? And sometimes you ask literally, what does it mean to you? But then you have to look at the elements. It was like a really good, I don't know if you guys watch Dr. House. I love that series. I just love that actor. It was an episode where there's like his arch enemy, like what's his name, Amber. And I don't want to tell you what happened. I'm just like, I was about to tell you the ending. If you didn't watch it, just Google it. I think that was toward the end, like last or the like, penultimate season. It was really, really good, because it dealt with that energy and dealt with the spirituality, how that was happening, how he was able to guide himself through it. So yeah, Chris, you're absolutely right. So there we go. Let's go. Next one, we have 3 left. And we have Virgo. Virgo is also affected with Mercury. So let's put Virgos over here. Virgo. So we have Taurus, Cancer, and Virgo left. So why is Earth relegated to? We started with Capricorn, but kind of like almost looks like the other two are now balancing us out. So let's see Virgo. Ooh, we already have 2. We have 9 of Wands, and then we have a 5 of Cups, and this one wants to come through, and it's the 8 of Cups. So there is like some kind of like renewal energy here. Virgo is there are goals and aspirations, and this is like the Knight of Wands doing over here. There's like, I mean, something they want to do. They're really energized. They're going in the direction. But it almost looks like when this goal is done, and Knight of Wands is like so freaking engaging. Like it's kind of like, just think about it, like Brad Pitt kind of like coming to you, because he's literally Knight of Wands, kind of like that's what you need to see. Are you going to say, you don't want to stay with me for the entire lifetime, so no, I don't want to think about it? No, my God, you're going to like, try to spend a minute or 2 or whatever, like, this kind of like energy comes to you. So this is kind of like the energy buried in 9 of Wands, right? So that's the Sagittarian energy of like, where they show this like worldliness and everything that they have learned and obtained, right? It almost looks like this is also bringing some emotions in you. And 5 of Cups is, again, looking at a cup half empty for some reason. In this particular deck, we also have 2 and 3. It's really interesting that in the other decks, usually the 2 are behind her. So in this deck, it's more positive, because she is actually not looking into the ones that are spilled. But what is really important here, those are like teetering on the edge, and the waves can come and knock them over. She can knock them over with her like a fin over here, the little pretty mermaid over here. Then the mermaid also meant, right, to woo the boats and sailors to their demise as well. So the 5 of Cups can take you down to that rabbit hole of some reason. And that's, I guess, how Virgo is affected. This is your Mercury retrograde moment over here. And it's connecting with 5, which is clearly Mercury. And Mercury is like communication. It almost looks like you might, Virgo might be very introverted. It's weird because on one hand, they're go, 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 they're doing stuff, they're inviting, and then all of a sudden there's like, Zippo, silence. Like, crickets. Not even crickets, it's just like dead silence kind of a thing. Virgo as well is kind of like asserting themselves in a way, and there is going to be some transitional and transformational energy that I see over here. Virgo is looking for the solution best for them. It's kind of like this dude is coming forward and this is going back. It's almost like in and out in energy. There's going to be circulation of energy over here. So this is in a sense good. So whatever needed to be processed during this Mercury retrograde will be processed here, right? So Aqua read is at 45. If you click back on 45, that's where you can hear Aqua. So Virgo, this is a really good card in a sense that you might have everything that you need, because this is like kind of like this is like about your scholarship, right? It's coming through, something is happening, but ultimately that is not going to be where you will land. It's going to be just a transitioning kind of like thing in your life. You're moving forward, you're kind of like going in the direction, because there's going to be something emotionally. This Mercury retrograde is going to bring emotions or something. Whatever you'll be learning is going to trigger you emotionally, or it could be a teacher triggering you emotionally. It's going to be something that Virgo is going to have a big switch. And so the people from the outside might feel like, hook and switch kind of a thing. Hey, you are saying like on your dating profile, you like doing things, you like going here, but all I'm seeing is your couch potato. Kind of like that's kind of going to come across only because people will observe this like small slice in time that something is really happening, because something is going to bring the onset of this emotional thing. So but remember that Virgo has something offered, and they don't want to take either bad things or good things. It almost like looks like, no, I'm kind of like moving away from both. It is time to almost like turn a new leaf. That's kind of like what this card would tell me, and that's how I would process it. So oh, thanks for explaining, Abs. So there you go. So what we have the two left, and it's Taurus. Taurus is the next one. So timestamp Taurus. So let's see what we have here. We have another Aquarius. Isn't this amazing how like people get attracted? Aquarians really, it's almost like moth to the flame. Like it's very kind of like changeable energy, and it's not a good fit for everybody. So like you kind of guys have to, for example, Chris is very different from me. He's a Capricorn, and he has what do you have, a Taurus I think rising, right? So he's like such a strong earth, but we both share the Saturn. It's kind of like almost like sitting across from each other kind of like energy, where many of you have either Leo, which is the opposite of the same kind of like their daughter, or Aquarius in your own chart. They're very, very strong. So we have Two of Wands. Ooh, look at that. How many of them are like this month reading just kind of like opened up for you here. Let me just get a sip of my tea to clear my throat. But look at how much fire you have, guys. You have Two of Wands, you have a Knight of Wands, you have Nine of Cups, and then you have Eight of Wands. I'm just going to tell you that this Mercury retrograde is not going to affect you very much. So this card, Two of Wands, generally means about positioning yourself, about planning. That's why he's holding this kind of like globe, kind of like what world I want to build for myself. But it is kind of like still in the domain of thought. There's like still not action, and this is a big action that is really happening. However, it's kind of like really, what I tell you, like I can go and I can interpret cards book wise, but this time I really have this like strong intuition, because somebody is coming toward, and this person is turning back to this person. So there is like clearly this energy is like how we see them, like, and we see Taurus as turning back to us. We see them as they're in their thoughts, they want to do something, right? It's almost like it feels like disconnect over here from me, kind of like that's kind of like intuitively what I feel, that almost like there's an energy that like we on the outside, we feel like, why don't you take this, you will be happy, we can do things, like, I mean, look at these 3 cards, I mean, I love you, and then this is it. No, it's almost like a huge barrier, it's almost like a huge wall over here that's happening. So Taurus is processing something, maybe they're on the brink of doing something else. So Mercury retrograde is not really affecting them in the terms that can bring some karma stuff, because they're simply kind of like already on their own path. They're going in their own direction and they want what they want. But I have to tell you that there are like offerings on the table they are not picking. They're like low hanging fruit that for some reason is not picked, and I think it's going to be to Taurus detriment, that like this is not a great situation, even though this is good, you're planning, you're seeding, you're kind of like looking like long term in direction, so it's pre-jump kind of like in a situation. But look at this beauty. 9 of Cups is the bounty. 8 of Wands is like energy that flows. So you are disconnecting yourself from the source, and that's itself, it could be Mercury retrograde, because almost like the wires are crossing or things are not doing well. But in some case it's just like you feel better functioning on your own. Taurus is not going to be receptive to the input from the other people. No offering would it's kind of like 9 of Cups is like that emotional offering, but you know, Taurus is usually not the greatest with you. Like when you bring them I love you, well, great, but you bring them a cake or you bring them, you know, a gold chain, oh yeah, now I know you love me. They're very kind of like motivated this way. So I'm really glad that my banker is Taurus. She just tells me which stocks she buys, says okay, let me check it out. By the way, this is a tip, cruises will double in stocks. So if you're buying stocks, that's kind of like area where to look at. And she said like they're $30 now and they'll expect to be 60 as soon as everything reopens. So that's kind of like important, right? So that's something about Taurus, guys. It's going to be really hard to break through it. Remember, they're very stubborn as well. So no amount of emotional gifts, no amount of doing things together is going to get you anywhere. They simply have to go through this process alone. So absolutely, things are not going to move forward until they kind of like settle in their own head what they want and how they want it. So I guess this one is Cancer, which is my ascendant on this particular geography where I live. And I just learned this like literally a few days ago, and kind of like it's really amazing because before I arrived here I was married to a Cancer, and it's kind of like amazing that his energy actually influenced, because I had option going to Switzerland, I had option going to Toronto, to Vancouver, so clearly that's where it showed, right? So let me put a stamp here for Cancer. So Cancer. Cancer. Ooh, we have 9 of Cups and the Lovers. And I don't know why, but the Moulin Rouge movie came through my mind. Nicole Kidman, and what's his name? I cannot think of this British actor, Evan something, I think. Oh my gosh, and that scene where they are singing We Can Be Lovers, that is really coming through over here. There's like simply something emotional happening. This is going to be a big, it's going to be all or nothing, guys, here for you. Cancers, this is about family, this is about children, this is about commitment. So together this makes sense, but then ta-da, the Tower. So that's what I'm saying, is going to be all or nothing. You're ready. There's like something that you feel you're ready. Maybe you want to make a commitment. Maybe Cancer is waiting for somebody to kind of like propose or to make this kind of commitment. Keep in mind it's Mercury retrograde. Usually June is like kind of the time when, you know, it's like that magical month where this romance is really, really flowing, and this is confirmed here with the Lovers card as well. So it's very, very important, right? uh, it's really talking about patience. There is going to be patience is going to be the key word for dealing with cancers. They're actually think themselves very impatient. They're literally, there is nine. It's I'm ready, and especially if you're dealing with a cancer female. Females in general, when females are ready, it has to happen. This is kind of like how we have our timing. When female is ready to have a baby, if the guy says I'm not ready, that's going to create a huge blow up, because it's literally the biological clock. You have to follow that's written as well. So it should be really woman's decision if you're kind of wise, hint hint kind of a thing. But in this particular case, Cancer is ready, but the timing is going to be so freaking off. So something, and this could be also one of those last calls, like, you know, this is going in this direction. It could be like we emerging together. It almost could be kind of like, I mean, blended family here that I'm seeing. It's interesting, the Sun card here doesn't have a wall. I don't know if you notice, it's very kind of like inconspicuous, usually in the other decks, but it shows the wall, it shows, you know, my circle kind of a friends, my kind of like boundaries. The sun is like, I mean, shining in the back, which means you see nice light, but it doesn't, the card doesn't make sense if you really pay attention, because the sunflowers are looking toward us, not toward the sun, where they should be heading. So this is some kind of like misconfiguration over here. The child is looking in our direction. So there's like something childish that the things Cancer will do this period. Sorry, Cancers. I mean, my ascendant over here. So it's asking for things to be reconfigured. It's asking, this is going to be huge shakedown. And that's a really, really biggie, Mercury retrograde, which I know asks for for things that actually haven't been built properly in the past. The Tower is all about, this is not sustainable. And I tell this to my clients. I have clients, and I almost like should specialize probably in dating coaching, right? I have clients who meet somebody, and then they're like in the seventh heaven, right? And immediately they're playing married game, they're playing the stuff, and there are like so many factors. There are kids involved. They introduce the kids right away after meeting somebody. It's just like, oh my God, step on the brake, right? Or baking cookies for their like boo, and like it sends a whole bunch of messages because you don't know the person. They're pushing a whole bunch of buttons. You don't know the person. You cannot possibly know the person until 6 months later, kind of a thing, right? So keep this in mind, that this is like something that is happening here. There's like some kind of like reconfiguration that is calling for you to build it properly, but it's not going to be fun. So if you're dealing with Cancer, they'll have big expectations on you, and they'll be also very disappointed, but things need to be done in a better, in a firmer way in order for things to function. So that is very, very important over here. And we have the doors, as Barbie is saying properly. And oh my gosh, it was a long today, and I have to go and pick up Mr. Tiggy, just like all off today, and then I want to do the cards for all of you. So let me do this. Let's close this for a second so I can shuffle the cards over here. Okay, so think about a different question. You cannot redefine the question that you had before, because it's not going to work this way. You're going to get slap on the wrist kind of a thing. Choose something else. Okay, I'm going to tell you the question I'm going to ask. Am I going to be able to buy something in my new location that is within the price that I want, and I'll be happy? And then door number 2, and the door number 3. I thought something flicked, but it didn't. Okay, I am going to ask for me a door number 1 for my answer. So let's see. What about you guys? Which door did you pick? So the door number one, it was my question. Whoops, it's a victory. I'll be very happy, and it's going to be swift and quick, and it's not going to be much fuss about it, because I was worrying about the bidding wars. I said, no, I just don't want to be caught in all of that. So that's a good answer. So we will see. I'll let you know. And if you guys pick the, so it's a yes, number one for all of you. It's a swift victory, and it's going to be without much pomp, or you'll not have to struggle about this, and it's going to be quick. Number two is yes, be careful about the third party here, but it's also advising you need to be lovers, but you also need to be friends, kind of a thing, because that's kind of like needed for completion of it. The lovers card means meeting of the minds, means doing the right choice in a situation, and it's only two that don't have this like third party there, but it was a Three of Cups, which means there is some kind of like rebalancing, and maybe you need to talk it over with your friends, kind of like get somebody's opinion in all of that. And the door number three is the Hangman. The Hangman is always talking about needing to change your perspective, and needing to change the circumstances, and needing to kind of like understand the situation. But when he reverses, he's just saying, like, it's almost like somebody is saying something in the situation. Yeah, I get it, sure, it'll all be fine. It's almost like you want to change with this question, but the change, somebody's telling you yes. So on the surface it's going to be yes, but things are not going to change. So something needs to change in order for you to get what you really, really want, because it almost looks like it's going to be pyrrhic or a superficial victory. So be very, very, so somebody's telling you, I'm interested, but there's somebody also probably having the other options open, or they have their own agenda. That's kind of like what would mean in your in your situation. So that's kind of thing. So let's do the angel cards today, guys, for everybody. Oh my god. Okay, I have to go back, and because I need to run in 2 minutes and pick up Mr. Tiger. So, oh, what is this? It didn't take me all the way down, so I don't even have, oh, what the heck is this? I see that's actually Mercury retrograde. I should have the chat from the very beginning, and I don't. I have just like when Lizzie Pooh said, literally my cat meowed at the same time. Okay, so let's start there. Lizzie Pooh, you're getting exploration. You kind of like need to open up, need to be a little bit open-minded. Then Knitting Yogi, same, exploration. Kind of like zooming on something, and kind of like they're almost like detail-oriented. It kind of like really fits your sun sign very well. Jenny Richardson, you're getting sisterhood and brotherhood. It's asking you to engage in a community, to be helpful, possibly volunteering, sort of a thing. Kathy Seppas, see, you guys you're getting transformation. There is like something that you're going to get, a hint, like light at the end of the tunnel, in which direction you need to go, you know, follow the white rabbit kind of a thing, like from the Matrix. Knitting Yogi, a main is a Pisces state. That's interesting. You're getting wisdom. I already did you, but like I did you again. You got a wisdom, and that's a hermit kind of card, which is your card. It's really talking about you need to find a sweet spot for you. Sweetie, let's see what you have. You have purpose. You need to raise above everything, like the struggle. There's a clearly struggle, right? You're climbing this mountain, and the mountain always represents challenge, and it represents delay, it represents struggles, but look, you're almost at the top, and it doesn't look like it's going to be very difficult. There are also wings over here, so it's kind of like a focus. It's almost like knowing, do not give up now on something. You're just about to be there, so that's very, very important. Mary Ann Knox, I don't know if you're still here, sweetie. You're getting 2, inspiration and balance. Well, it almost looks like that you need to like do some activity or hobbies that are going to put you in place, in the balance, that there's like something unexpressed, and hence is creating kind of like difficulty, I guess, let's say it. It's very important to kind of like push it through. I don't know if Mr. Born Lucky is still here. If he is, there is like awakening of a sort, maybe, being your first time, maybe kind of like you're feeling, oh my gosh, you know, I need to be more spiritual. Maybe we see you again. Hopefully we see you again. Barbie, this one, it's weird. Forgiveness. Do you need to forgive somebody, or somebody needs to forgive you? Not sure, but forgiveness could be also mental exercise. As sometimes we well, forgiving is easier than forget, right? I tend to make it easy for forgive, and not necessarily for the other people, but for me, so I don't feel chained to that energy. Forgetting is the other part of that equation. So this is asking you to make this like first step over here. So then Kylie, interestingly, you're also having a sister for in brotherhood. To me, it's a very much Aquarian kind of card, which tells me you belong to the people, you belong to some bigger picture over here. Don't kind of like ground yourself. This is just you and your world. This is much bigger than you. You need to understand this. Like, there are some big things planned for you. So open the door, open up to that energy. So it's very, very important, right? Did I do you, Barbie? I don't know. I'll do it again. My short-term memory is like not functioning today. I better start taking some support. And you're also getting support, and you're getting integrity. So you want to get over the hurdle. You need people to kind of like assist you. There's like something you cannot do on your own. It will be very difficult. So you need to reach out, and you don't overpromise in the situation. You allow yourself to just do the right thing at the right time. Sometimes even when it's easy, sometimes when you think you can easily get away, it's really, really important to do the right thing. Then we have Jenny Richardson. Oh, you're getting love and peace. So do I need to explain anything here? You're going to feel like a little pea in a pod over here. I know that Kylie, let's do it. Vision again, soul, sight, and future. I know I just read it you, but it's, for some reason it just like told me. So I see I'm going in all directions. I'm just simply following my own process. Soul, sight, and future. So there are like 3 different layers you're building, and it's really, really important to kind of like deal with this. Chris, yes, we are meeting today, Chris, and we are meeting the next week. We're actually meeting like, I mean, all this freaking month, and then I think it's going to be break on the 3rd. So we just keep going this entire month. What happened? Where is my screen? Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, okay, it's got right here. So Chris, no, I'm not removing anybody. Why is this asking me to remove? What did I click on? No, there we go. We hope to see you again, sweetie. Like here, I guess you're feeling the energy. Chris, you're also getting vision. Very much like it's like you and Kylie. I know like generally doesn't mean because you got the same card, but I'm feeling there's like some energy. Maybe you're dealing with something. Maybe it wouldn't be bad to connect and kind of like discuss. Kind of like would be really something. Maybe there's like the same thing you're dealing with, and it would be good to have, I know, another person to debate with. And I want to pick another card for you, Chris. And it says courage. Take a jump. There's like something that you're hesitant, and it's take this leap of faith. That will be that Fool card over here if you wish, right? Lynn Westbrook. So guys, you'll forgive me, I don't have all the names from the very beginning. Oh, you're also having love. It's a really healing energy, encompassing energy that is really, really happening. Jenny, did I do you? I am not so sure. Inspiration. My charts have changed, like rising with Virgo, and now it's Taurus, right? Then let's see who is next here. Sally is gone, but if she looks at it, oh, sisterhood and brotherhood. Like there's like some, I guess, universal connection that is really, really happening. So then we have a Urat, Piepolite. We have discernment. You have the fork in the road, and you need to find what is the most important thing in your life. and just like go with it. Like it kind of looks like that both of them will be unknown, but kind of like don't really worry about it. Then we have creative guru, and you have a strength. Oh my gosh, I love hugging trees. Like, I mean, when I hug trees, I feel that my energy gets pure, especially evergreen trees. So strength is really talking about that you, it's not only just like, I mean, ethereal quality that you kind of like might have. It's kind of like get this energy. You can evoke this energy. So it's something connected to the nature kind of like things. Oh, you're right. Like, I just thank you very much for the readings. I really appreciate that. Lorna H, the eBay shopper, she needs to teach me how to do it because I'm too impatient to wait and bid. Power, it's kind of like people will come to you for an answer, for solution. You'll feel like you're really doing really well, kind of like things are really going in a good direction. So let me see, did I miss anybody here? If you guys the next time, I don't know, maybe you can put Kylie in charge for that because Barb cannot do everything. So kind of like give me an order of people of appearance and just like put it on when I do this. It's going to be much easier because I didn't realize I'm going to, that's going to take it away from you. I'm just going through this. I think I did everybody so far. Lynn Vesper, did I do you? If I didn't do you, oh, you're so cute. I'm just looking at this picture. Delight. That's it. You're delightful. Meeting with your friends. Is there some kind of birthday that you have to attend to? If not, there's like a rebirth of some sort that means you're going to be called. It's some kind of like return, solar return or whatever it is. And you will be kind of like making a decision to go in a certain direction. And Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Did you tell us what you are? Crystal is you have responsibility. This is like the Two of Wands, kind of like you're on the brink of concocting what kind of like life you want to have, in which direction you really want to go. So that's kind of like important. I'm scrolling down. CBO music, did I do you? Light, look at this. It's almost like a fireworks and kind of like a stuff. So whenever you're bogged down with something, you need to understand that you're on the wrong path. You need to shift it. That's kind of telling you kind of like you need to kind of go to your higher self and ask, what would my higher self do in this situation? That's going to be your answer. Shaimei, let's see. Shaimei, it's a wisdom as well. There are answers that you're seeking, but the answers need to come from inside for you. It has to be done some spiritual work or with a guru. You need to find some kind of guidance, which is going to be really important here. And I don't even think you are here. I'm not feeling your energy. It's kind of important, but I think that, am I coming to the end? Kelsey, did I do you, Kelsey? And delight, it's for you as well. It's again meeting with people, and there is some kind of celebration that is enclosed over here. People who are supportive of you and that you kind of like have really common goals over here. So, oh, Knitting Yogi, you will. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So guys, just remember, in about I guess 5 hours or 6 hours from now, I'm going to do Reiki healing for everybody, right? So if you can, just like tune to this energy. I just kind of like usually sit in a circle. I surround myself with crystals. I kind of like clean my energy, and I'm going to just do the healing for all of you. And you might feel a big shift in energy at that time, if you remember. If you do feel it, send me a quick note, message on either like to my social media, even though on Facebook. I don't remember the last time I was on Facebook. It's a bad cat because I'm all on Instagram right now. So Instagram would be the best, or email or YouTube. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate that. Oops, I'm late for picking up Tiger, but it's okay. Today I'm just late in the entire phase. So I will talk to you guys next week. So just let you know, this month we are having every single week, unless something really happens that I have to go, but I don't anticipate anything right now. I'm just saying so because of Mercury retrograde. I'm always taking this reservation, but otherwise it should be all kind of like the way it should be. So there it is. So where is my ding? Just to acknowledge this energy. Can I play the ding? There we go. And the little tiny 20 seconds sign off music. I love you guys. I wish you to have a wonderful week. Go and kind of like recheck if you're dealing with another person, to check their energies to see how you can position yourself better. The next time, let me see, is this the mid-month? Yes, it is. I'm going to do a mid-month touch-up. Now, on the 26th, I'm doing the readings for the next month, but on the 19th, we can think of something else. So you tell me, maybe by the next time you can think through what we can do on the 19th. I'll be thinking through and appreciate it. You're welcome, Chris. I appreciate you guys. Let's play some music. Let's say bye-bye. It's always weird at the end. It kind of like ends so quickly and dramatically. But don't you think that I don't think about you? So as I said, it's going to be a Reiki session also coming later for all of you that, you know, are suffering through Mercury retrograde. And I really hope this brings you kind of like calmness and peace and actually warmth and happiness. Love you all, and I'll talk to you and I'll see you next week. All the best, guys. Love you, all my kitty cats. I'll see you